Hey guys, so it's Crypto Insight UK here, back with another video. It is 4:30 p.m. on the 8th of June 2021. We've got so much to talk about in this video. There's been so much going on in crypto recently. The price action is something that I'm not really going to be covering too much in this video. There's loads going on that I wanted to try and bring to your attention and just dive a little bit more deeply into this, because I want you guys to not be too distracted by the short-term price when I know that there's a bigger narrative and it's so clear right now. So yeah, I'm just going to show you everything that I can see at the minute. So we'll start with this. El Salvador adopts Bitcoin. Is it hype or history in the making? As you guys know, and I've reported it on TikTok, I have talked about this. One thing that the president of El Salvador has come out and said is that if anyone did want to move to El Salvador, should this become a law, which is likely is going to, because he's a very liked leader in El Salvador, then there is no income tax for anyone who wants to move there, which means you pay no tax on the buying of a property. All crypto entrepreneurs are welcome, and you will get immediate residency in El Salvador should you want to move there. So let's talk about what it would mean for the country. So, big news from El Salvador, and there's a thread here that explains it. Bitcoin has a market cap of $680 billion. If 1% of that was invested in El Salvador, that would increase our GDP, which is gross domestic product, by 25%. On the other side of this, Bitcoin will have another 10 million potential new users, and it's the fastest growing way to transfer $6 billion a year in remittances. And he does have a point. I'm not going to lie, it's not the fastest, but it's close. It's better than what they're doing with the dollar, I guess, at the minute. So, following that, another thing that I've noticed is, so that announcement came out literally 2 days ago, on the 6th of June. And what have we had since? So, now there's kind of like a laserized movement in South America, which is pretty weird, I guess. We've had, for definite, we've had Paraguay and Panama both talk about including Bitcoin or legalization of it in terms of a currency, or becoming a new accepted currency in their countries. And then we'll just go through this Twitter thread here, which I thought was pretty interesting, to show some of the other laser eyes in South America who are looking towards Bitcoin. So we've got Eduardo Murat in Mexico, says he'll be promoting and proposing a legal framework for crypto coins in Mexico's lower house. We've got another Mexican politician, a Senate, Indira Kempis has the laser eyes, the first politician to do so in Mexico. And then obviously, what's his name, Eduardo? My guy Eduardo was the second. We've had, I do not have a clue how to say that, but the national deputy for Neuquén in Argentina now has a laser eye. So that's now in South America so far. We've got Mexico, Argentina. Mexico, you could argue, are Central America, I guess. We've got Mexico, Argentina, Panama, also Central America, El Salvador, Central America, Paraguay, South America. Says he will start an important project with Bitcoin adoption. There was talk a long while ago about Paraguay creating the biggest mining rig in the world, as they share a massive dam with Brazil on their border. And then we've got Gilson Marquez from Brazil, who also has the laser eyes. So, and one more, who's Fabio Usterman in Brazil as well. So there's a lot of talk in South America about Bitcoin and becoming a currency, which is all snowballed off the back of El Salvador announcing that they are going to try and pass it as a law. So keep your eyes peeled on this space, guys. As I said, don't get distracted by short-term price action. Following that, we're going to go straight on and talk about hacking in America and the hacks that have been going on. As we all know, there has been a hack on the gas pipelines, and then there was a hack on a big meat company that supplies it's like 5 of the 7 biggest meat providers in the UK or something, or in the US or something like that, something along those lines. So what happened is, well, the hack on the gas lines, they say gas is petrol in America, so they could not travel anywhere. But basically, I want to cover this article because of that hacking, the hacking talks and what's happened. After the hacks had finished, the American government paid the hackers their Bitcoin ransom that they wanted, and they have today recovered a lot of the Bitcoin hack from the DarkSide group. And because of that, Bitcoin has slid 10% in price. So why is that? Well, a lot of the early adopters to the space wanted anonymity, so they wanted to be untrackable, and they thought that Bitcoin was a way to do that. However, as technology has progressed, I could track a transaction from wallet to wallet, so if you had better tracking skills than I do, you'd be able to see what goes on the network. So although this has kind of crushed the libertarian hope of no one ever knowing where your money's going, I also think it will bring strength to Bitcoin in the long term, as it will be more trusted for governments. And it's good timing in terms of El Salvador thinking about it as legal tender, and then the FBI being able to track transactions should anything dodgy be going on. What you got to remember is, if you were doing this with fiat currency, looking for a hack and a ransom, you would never be able to track the currency unless you literally followed it. So that's one thing about Bitcoin. Although wallets are anonymous, you can track transactions from wallet to wallet, and at some point you are going to have to withdraw it unless we do keep it as legal currency. But anyway, there's a lot of different rabbit holes to go down along those lines. And on top of this, we have had a $6 trillion stimulus package from Joe Biden that's going to be coming through. So what do we think that's going to do to the market long term? I personally think there's going to be more capital to come into the space. The strength of the dollar aside, we'll talk about that in a different episode. It does mean that a lot of people have more cash to be investing into things like cryptocurrency and the stocks and shares market. We're now going to move on and talk about how the Bank of England yesterday released this article about new forms of digital money. That's literally the title, guys. Published on the 7th of June 2021. New forms of digital money. So I just want to leave that with you, just let that sink in. We're going to cover a few points from this article. We're going to go straight into the one-page summary. New forms of digital money, either publicly or privately provided, would be the latest innovation in an evolving landscape for the way in which payments are made in the economy. They could contribute to faster, cheaper, and more efficient payments. They could potentially enhance financial inclusion, but they could also carry risks. So that first opening paragraph does not just ring true to the UK, but actually to the world in general. Presently, payments typically rely on the use of either cash or deposits held in commercial banks, referred to as commercial bank money. In new forms of digital money, if new forms of digital money are to become widely used and trusted for retail payments, it's essential that the public can have the same confidence in them as they do in existing forms of money. But I would argue that the public don't have much confidence in existing forms of money right now. That's why a lot of people are moving towards crypto, and I understand that there's not that many people in the crypto space, but it's really awesome that the Bank of England are acknowledging this. So, not just acknowledging it, I think they are obviously really thinking about it. I'm going to link it to a few more things. In this article, they do discuss stable coins being a potential option for new money, basically. Even private stable coins they talk about. We're going to remember is, as an XRP, a Ripple holder, and I'm a big lover of their project and the cryptocurrency XRP, that banks will need to be interoperable across different ledgers and different side ledgers of each different ledger. So what I mean by that is, Ripple pilots a private ledger for central banks launching a CBDC. Ripple is the first crypto company to create a private ledger for banks to work on a central bank digital currency. And we know for a fact that Ripple was working with the Bank of England and has been since, if we view more articles here, and has been all the way since 2016. They are a paid customer of Ripple's, and we now have a big article about new money. And in March this year, Ripple tweeted about a private ledger that banks could build CBDCs on. For the only way in this article, it says for a private ledger to work is to have a neutral bridge asset, which is where XRP comes into the equation, guys. This is when people say what's the relation with Ripple and XRP. For central banks to be able to trade across ledgers or across borders, they still need a neutral bridge asset, and XRP is the fastest and the most efficient and the most well tied in terms of bank partnerships at the minute. This is why my hedge is on XRP. So it doesn't take a genius to put all of this together, guys, and this is why I am so bullish on XRP in the long term, and I really do think that short-term price action is a big distraction. So not only that, what better time to have the G7 event in the UK in Cornwall, the 11th to the 13th of June, when this article on new money has been published on the 7th of June, and the title of this G7 event is Build Back Better, and it's talking about after the C19 event to build back better. It just blows my mind how in your face all of this is. At the same time, no one's really talking about it. We've had Jerome Powell from the United States of America, Federal Reserve, talk about how the US was not going to issue a stable any digital currency, and then this year has come out and said they're actually further ahead than everyone thinks because they're working with private innovation such as Facebook DM Coin, which has moved back from Switzerland to America. There's just so much going on that it actually hurts my head to talk about. So Facebook DM were originally Facebook Libra, different project. They wanted to make a basket of currencies. They then basically got sued by the US government, said that they cannot do that, so they moved out. They went to Switzerland to start up a new project which they labeled DM, which they were going to create a stable coin. They had planned and were listing on the Swiss Stock Exchange or the Swiss Exchange of Currencies, and then last minute, a few weeks ago, they decided or announced they were going back to America to work with Silvergate Bank, who were going to hold all of their reserves, who are also a Ripple partner, by the way. And out of nowhere, they went back, even though no laws or no legislations have changed so far as we know it in America. We know that Japan are looking into their central bank digital currency, and they are massively affiliated with XRP, with SBI, Yoshitaka Kitao. We know that obviously now England are looking into their digital currency. We know that China are very well and far ahead with their digital yuan. And finally, the European Central Bank, when Christine Lagarde said at the start of the year they would not be looking at anything for the next 4 years. I'm going to leave you with this clip to sign off from this video, and I hope that I haven't rambled too much, guys. I hope you really take something from this, because I really want you guys to think and see what I see. Everything else aside, take short-term price action out of your mind and just look at the bigger picture right now. I know it's hard to do sometimes, but please just listen to what I'm saying. Don't panic about short-term prices, because if you can't see that the writing's on the wall, guys, it's never been more clear to me. I'm just going to play you this, and I will speak to you on the next one, guys.
Issuing a digital euro may become important if a global or euro stablecoin or a foreign CBDC were to largely displace existing euro area means of payments. In the future, if the euro system goes ahead with the project, and we will take a decision in the coming weeks, it will also discuss whether cross-border use of the digital euro should be possible. If this were the case, a well-designed digital euro could not only preserve the role of the euro in domestic payments, but also enhance its global role by reducing frictions, costs, and risks of euro-denominated cross-border payments.